Greetings, friends. This is Elizabeth Shermer with our summer solstice and Cancer new moon eclipse message. What an amazing time. I'm really thrilled to be with you today as we begin. This is so potent. There's so much potency to this moment, and my intention is to be as clear and concise and receive the most coherent message that will support each of you. So let's start with a breath and the intention that as we receive this message from our helpers and our higher selves, that we connect with the highest and best. Take a breath in your heart, feel yourself come fully present to this moment, bringing forward all that has been, owning all of it, celebrating all of it, and asking now that we integrate all that has been into a new creation. That's the opportunity of this eclipse and what's coming forward for us now. So let's start with I'm taking a breath because there's so much. I want to be super coherent. So let's start with picture of the summer solstice. So in the wheel of the year, this is spring equinox, and then we've just moved through Aries, Taurus, and Gemini into summer solstice, which happens at what we call the nadir of the year, the lowest point of the yearly cycle, which represents an anchor point. This is the most powerful anchor point of the year into embodiment. And so what's happening right now through the element of water, which is Cancer, which is emotional power, what's happening is the light is being anchored, consciousness is being anchored into our bodies and into the body of the earth to help us connect more fully with who we are and bring who we truly are into our life in practical ways. So the summer solstice, that activation happens every year, and then this year it is coinciding with a new moon and solar eclipse. The Cancer new moon and solar eclipse happen on the same day. And this is incredibly powerful. It's an incredibly and powerful infusion of a new beginning, a completely new opportunity. And the opportunity is a new sense of self, a new sense of the truth of who you really are and how you can be truly at home in the world. Truly infused with security, courage, confidence, and equilibrium to move forward on your own path of blessing. So the tarot card for the Cancer new moon and the summer solstice is the Chariot. And the Chariot is a spectacular image of personal empowerment. The golden armor, this represents you coming into a new awareness of the blessing of your life. My voice just broke, which was when I started to say the word blessing. So what that's representing is that some of us aren't experiencing this as a time of blessing. It's a time of challenge. So the paradox right now that we have to come to own is that every challenge holds a blessing even when we can't see it. And so there's a quality of faith that we have to anchor and assert right now. The Chariot happens, the summer solstice happens at the conclusion of spring, and spring is a season of new learning and new exploration and new sense of personal power. And so this is a time for you to bring forward everything you've learned, everything you've discovered, all the new opportunities, and hold space for a way that this will come together for new qualities of your true self to emerge. So the golden armor and the warrior sitting in lotus position represents you infused with your own consciousness and awareness of the truth of who you are. The golden armor represents the alchemy of self and the ability to love yourself and to feel confident in yourself and your ability to trust that the guardians and the helpers of your life, the four guardians in the symbol, are going to pull you forward and move you forward. You are sitting in strength and confidence as you move forward in your life. And there are so many other symbols in the card. And those of you who know the work with the cards, I recommend that you explore the Chariot as part of your meditation for solstice and in the weeks to come. So the opportunity for blessing right now is real. And even though we may not see it yet, it is present, and there's a new quality of faith and trust that will enable you to trust that you're being carried forward in new, fortunate ways in your life. The Queen of Cups is the court card for Cancer. And the Queen of Cups represents the water element that's being anchored right now. This is emotional power. This new power of the charioteer comes from the power of your heart and your emotional strength and inner stability, and your ability to now receive new emotional strength and stability as you move forward. Your ability to trust your heart and to trust your emotional guidance system to carry you forward. And that's emphasized also by the Two of Cups, which is the minor arcana card for one Cancer. It's called love. It represents the bliss and joy and fulfillment of the experience of emotional support. That's the message that's coming through right now, is the emotional support is real. Feel it, trust it. Okay. I'm scanning because there's so much to talk about, and we're going to quickly look at the chart. I just want to show you another example of emotional support is that the picture of the chart for our summer solstice, new moon, this is the chart for the new moon, is called a bowl. At one side of the bowl is Pluto. At the other side of the bowl is Mercury. And Pluto is the outermost planet in our solar system, Mercury, the innermost personal planet. Pluto, the outermost planet of total transformation. Mercury, the innermost planet of new awareness and the ability to use your mind to explore and understand who you are in relationship to the world. The guides, when I was preparing, invited me to show you the glyphs for Pluto and Mercury, which are very similar. The glyph for Pluto represents transcendent consciousness. The sun, the circle, the inner circle in Mercury has lifted to the top, representing the ability now, at this moment, at this point in time, to receive the full harmony that is being held for us in trust that we are on our right path and that we can move forward. And the path for moving forward in our world is through, at this point, is through the illumination of each of us connecting with a new sense of who we truly are. And so the final piece I want to bring forward with the Chariot that's really important about this is the spiritual teaching of the Chariot is about boundaries. On Tree of Life, this path, it's the 18th path on the Tree of Life. The Hebrew letter is Het, and it is the word for fence. And so fence refers to boundaries and enclosures. And for those of you who work with these principles, you may recognize the word chariot is another word for the Merkaba. And the Merkaba is a sacred geometry form that represents our truly fully activated energy field of consciousness that enables us to move between dimensions, including being fully in our body in the world. So, on a practical sense, know that you have the opportunity now to strengthen your boundaries, strengthen your sense of self, and create new boundaries. The word new is coming through. And the boundaries are about this energy of gold, an illuminated sense of who you are that carries you through the world in new ways. That's your chariot. Okay? And the teaching on Tree of Life about the fence is that when you own your own boundaries, the old fences that that held you back or limited you fall away, because you have a new fence, a new boundary of gold that is more powerful and more transcendent. And so old limitations no longer need to bind you or restrict you or create the dimensions of where you get to go or what you get to do. You carry it with you. A super beautiful image. So let's jump to the spread and see what, I'm excited to share the message with you. So the first card, let's pull these away. Knowing the energies of this eclipse and the importance of this time, I asked for a message of both practical advice and also encouragement that we are indeed on our path. So the first card is an affirmation of that. The Seven of Wands is called Valor. It's one of the cards of the Chariot. The Chariot is the number 7, and 7 is the number of transcendence, of transforming through all the processes of life. And so 7 of Wands, Valor, has 6 wands that are stable and in the background, representing your practices, your personal practices that keep your field stable, and your ability to hold faith and trust that keeps stability. And then the central wand, representing your vertical column, is vibrating. This represents processes of change, and all the sparks represent new infusion of life force. And it could be challenging, but in this card, there's an exhilaration of rising to the occasion and the ability to use all your tools. And there are symbols here of helpers and a variety of, just a minute, there's something coming in. You are being, all of us are being reminded of the necessity of daily practice right now. Our stability is maintained by our daily practice. The world is changing every day. Our practices in the morning and at night are crucial now to maintain this stability. When we commit to our morning and evening practices, then we are able to face the day, seize the day with exhilaration in the face of the greatest challenges. The extremity of challenge means there's equally extreme opportunities for joy. The universe always provides balance, and so we are learning how to own our own containers of authority, and that will keep us protected and safe and strong as we move forward through the coming times of adventure. The next card is a strong affirmation of this, adjustment. And this card has been coming up over and over and over in mystery school lately for individuals and also in our group circles and sessions. This card represents your ability now to anchor your own truth into the world. She is literally representing that point that we're talking about of claiming your light, claiming your ground, claiming your piece of the earth in your body, and then adjusting to your circumstances through that point of light that is your root chakra. And so see that emphasis in both of these cards is in our vertical column and our verticality right now. And then the final card is a huge yes to all of this. The Lovers represents your marriage to your higher self. And the bringing forward now of your essence into your body is going to bring you into a new joy-filled relationship with the truth of who you are, as well as the truth of your dynamic relationship with all the circumstances in your life and your ability to navigate challenge and contrast in new ways. There's a practical piece here, which is that this card also represents Gemini, which we just left, and the last month of learning through contrast. You have new abilities now to explore contrast, and we're all doing that in such exciting ways, I think. And so this card, Cancer, follows Gemini. The Chariot follows the Lover's card. And so this is an encouragement to bring forward everything you've learned and to incorporate new awareness of yourself and new awareness of those around you as we expand our personal capacities for leadership and for contribution. And as we explore new voices, we explore our own voices and we hear other voices as we dialogue about new solutions to our problems. Systems of authority, established systems are falling away, and that's a necessary part of our current evolutionary cycle. And all of us are being forced to examine the ways in which the old patterns haven't served us and haven't served our collective. And by being willing to examine the past, we are freed to incorporate what we learn in order to move forward in new ways. So the eclipse shadow, a solar eclipse always illuminates a shadow. The shadow is present in our world, and there's a quality now of the opportunity to be empowered and to be inspired by the shadow. And that's one of the pieces we received from the lunar eclipse 2 weeks ago, is being inspired to explore things that haven't worked in the past. The solar eclipse is what's called a North Node eclipse, which is about the future. So we're bringing the past forward now, all that has been, with new appreciation and exuberance and excitement and confidence and compassion that will enable us to incorporate all of it into new creations together. So, summer solstice, celebrate. Feel your yes to life. Expand into your yes to life. Trust wholeness. Trust the love that binds the universe together. Whether you feel joyful or not, joy is a frequency that heals. It's always there. And trust that it's always there. And know that you are being held no matter what. Then from that place, practice new skills and tools of curiosity so that you can see what you haven't seen before in yourself and others. When we ask to see what we need to see, new truth is revealed. So remember to focus on the positive, focus with optimism even when you're not sure what to do, and all you need to know is the next step. So allow whatever to emerge, whatever needs to emerge to emerge. Speaking of shadow, the shadow of Cancer is insecurity, because Cancer is about being secure, about feeling at home. So for all of us, different forms of insecurity will come up now because that's what we're balancing and learning. So pay attention to insecurity. Pay attention to when you trust your inner authority and when you don't. And hold compassion for yourself and others. We are being challenged to release our attachment to external authority in order to allow the dismantling of those forms. And there's no blame here. It's the reality of the time of new growth. So we need to hold compassion for everyone involved and trust in the flowering of new birth. The universe is supporting us. The cosmos is supporting us. And all our friends and helpers in the galaxy are cheering us on. So this is a time to celebrate. I want to end with the symbol for the summer solstice, which is anchored in both of these symbols of vertical alignment. So the Sabian symbol for one Cancer is, in a ship on the ocean, the sailors lower an old flag and raise a new one. So the ship on the ocean represents your consciousness. And it's the vehicle, it's the chariot in today's symbol. It's your vehicle for traveling through life. And the ocean represents the emotional field that holds and supports us. So what's happening now, the sailors represent all the parts of your personality that keep your boat, your vessel going, and the way you are learning. And we are all learning how to integrate all the parts of ourselves so we work in harmony together. And so we travel with more ease and grace and joy and well-being. How to nourish ourselves and nurture ourselves. Those are all the sailors. And the sailors are lowering the old flag and raising the new one. This symbol occurs every year at summer solstice. What's unique this year is that the flag we're raising is coming out of all of this amazing time of challenge and change. And with the summer solstice eclipse, we have the opportunity to reach even higher, to claim something bigger, to assert a new sense of who we really are and what's really possible. The glory of yourself, your glorious, beautiful self. That's the flag you're raising. So honor this time. Take some time to celebrate and feel the truth of new beginnings. And I'd like to end with one of my favorite poems. And this poem is important now. I am like saying it to myself every day. This poem is important now because it's a poem about owning the truth of who you really are. We experience our higher selves as sometimes as distant beings or an abstract concept. The opportunity you have now at summer solstice is to feel the infusion of your true self as the self that gives you life, and then a new sense of that self merging with your personality self, who is the self who lives the day-to-day life in the world. So this poem called Love After Love by Walcott is a poem about having a new encounter with your true self and coming home. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit here, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you have ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit and feast on your life. Love yourself. Love your light. Love your life. We are here to do great things, and the time is now. It's time to shine. Happy solstice.